So, and they're doing it intentionally. They have brought in some outside blood, but basically, generally, they're pretty. The bloodlines are pretty pure as far as being Illuminati blood, and there's some reasons for that too. They pass on generational curses. They pass on. Okay, are we losing connection here?
No, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, fine.
It started breaking up a little bit, but keep going. You're saying they pass on curses.
Yeah, for the mind control, they need people that are genetically able to dissociate and become programmed multiple personalities. And most people are not able to do that. If you torture most little children, they'll just curl up and die. It takes a special select breed of people that as children, when they're tortured, are creative enough to become multiple personalities. Not everybody's able to do that. But their bloodlines have good disassociative abilities, and this is something that they developed over thousands of years. So yeah, they're not like us, and that's one of the things I might emphasize to the listeners, because so oftentimes I hear people trying to extrapolate what these leaders must be thinking, and they place their own thinking upon them. It doesn't work that way. It's just like trying to figure out how a bureaucrat is going to make a decision. They don't think like a rational, logical person. They have their own bureaucratic logic, which doesn't make any sense to any rational person. Well,
it's usually about the raw exercise of power.
Yeah. But when you think through what you would say, well, what they want to accomplish is this, this, and this. Why would they do that? And it would seem like it would be counterproductive. There's a lot of subplots within subplots within subplots, and they create conflict because the way they like to work is through controlled conflict. So just because maybe one Illuminati family is trying to take care of another Illuminati family, like you see Onassis was working against the Kennedys, the Kennedy brothers and Onassis hated each other. That doesn't mean that they're not on the same team. It means that's the way the Illuminati work. They like to stab each other in the backs, thinking that that's the way you get the best. The best person's going to rise to the top through all this.
Yeah, they see it as social Darwinism. It's just incredible. The book breaks down so much of it. Bloodlines, the Illuminati, Fritz Springmeier. Fritz, right now, let's look at our books, because we're going to come back and do one segment, then one more segment before you've got to leave us. I want to get you back up next week for a full hour, or maybe even two, to really get into all this. You can send us some slides if you want, for people that are watching on the internet, not just listening on the radio. So we can actually show some of what you're talking about here on air and kind of go through this in more detail, because this is riveting. And I don't want to go to break. I don't even want to come back and take calls, but they'll bring up great points. I want to keep hearing you bring up more, because as crazy as this all sounds, truth is stranger than fiction. Every time you're talking about something, because I've done so much research on my own, it's like bing, 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 bing. All this proof that what you're saying is so incredibly accurate. And that's why they've come after you, because you're hitting the nail on the head. These people are basically a ruling elite of mentally ill, crazy people who are so anti-human that they're able to take over, because they're like cancer. They're malfunctioning, and the inmates are running the asylum. And they're highly intelligent, genius-level, psychopathic, control freak sadists who are just not what regular people are. They are the dark side.
Yeah, well said.
Well, my friend, I tell you, I just hope everybody gets your book, Bloodlines, Illuminati, and gets it out to everybody. It also ties in with my films, Order of Death, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. Both those films are on one DVD. If your church isn't talking about stuff like this, and you find out it's working for FEMA. A lot of them are secretly on the payroll. That's come out. Just search the term clergy response teams. Then you know you probably got one of their little minions in there that isn't a devil worshiper. They just sold out for a little bit of money. And that's the other sick part. These guys buy the whole world up for nothing. Your call's coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, truth is stranger than fiction. How many people have said that throughout history? It's because it's true. And I wish that the globalists weren't into the occult. It's bizarre. But if you've done your research or you're a news hound, it just keeps popping up. And the Illuminati is real. These people are into it. I've got letters that George Washington wrote talking about the Illuminati trying to take over the Masons. This stuff is going on. And the book, Bloodlines, the Illuminati exposes it. We're working on getting Fritz on both the nightly news next week, and we think Thursday, tentative for 2 hours, noon to 2, so we can have him talk for an hour. I'll just shove a sock in my mouth, and then an hour of phone calls. But let's go to calls right now, and for the next little segment, try to get all 5 of these callers, Carl, Ronnie, Tommy, Chris, and Gary. Gary's in Hong Kong, so we'll go to Gary in Hong Kong first. Gary, your question for Fritz Springmeier.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller, but long-time listener. I've been a Mason for 30 years, and I stopped paying my dues because I have Cherokees in my family, and a tribal Lakota elder sent me a video from Mount Pleasant boarding school, and, you know, there's murder and torture that went on in those boarding schools, and what happened was the cornerstone, I saw in the video, the cornerstone was laid by Freemasons, and that sort of did it for me right there.
Well, I mean, overall, most Freemasons are compartmentalized like every other big organization and think they're doing good. I've had a lot of ancestors that were Masons. A lot of the founders were. But the system uses that. Any secret society, they will grow within it, basically. Because if you go back, it goes back to Solomon's Temple and before. So it goes back into antiquity. And you've had these, you know, these mystery schools that go right back to Egypt, not just Babylon. But do you have a question for Fritz Springmeier?
No, I just wanted to make a comment and give you and Mark Dice and Fritz an apology because I was in denial for a long time and I didn't believe it at first, but now I'm so sorry, you know.
Well, that's like saying, you know, the government deals the drugs and people say, well, are you saying a cop on the beat stealing drugs? No, not on average. It's at the top. They certainly are. But God bless you, and I appreciate your call. Briefly, I mean, how does modern Masonry especially tie into all this, Fritz?
Well, I like to call it the glove that fits onto the hand of the Illuminati. You said it very well. They're used. And a lot of people are unwittingly used. They don't see the bigger picture for some reason. They just blindly go along and think they're in a good old boys club. There's clues all around them as to what's going on, but like so many people, they're not really analyzing what they're doing or what they're involved with. So you said it pretty well. Is that you know, you have a mixture. Some people have their eyes open and realize what the bigger picture is, and some people just participate and just blindly continue to support something that's working for the elite.
Yeah, let's jam in another call here. I see a call on the board called Antichrist, but we got to go in order here. Carl in Oregon, you're on the air. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Cobra Commander. Missed talking to you on Sunday. I saw a movie called it's called Aquarius, Age of Evil, a Keith Thompson movie. And it did mention Fritz Springmeier and his story. A friend of mine told me that he was going to be on the radio soon, so I do have a couple of questions for him. Originally, they're for you, but
That's fine. Go ahead.
I'll give them to Fritz. Hey, Fritz, how you doing?
Just fine, thank you.
Great. It's great that you're out. God bless you, brother. I hope you're going to be safe. But the android humanoid production is one of them, and let's see what the other one was about. The best truth movement that's not been co-opted to get into.
Okay, so basically the globalists want to turn us into these biological androids. They're announcing all these microchips to cure all these things, but what is the Trojan horse that's in them? So we'll get that answer when we come back in 30 seconds. Thank you, Carl. We only opened the phones up for Fritz. I don't know how you were holding for me.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal-Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Cal-Ben on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Cal-Ben on the web at 5starsoap.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Bob Chapman coming up, and boy, is there a lot of economic news to talk about concerning Davos, and then popping in later at the end of the hour, Dr. Stan Monteith's going to be on with Bob and myself. We've got some breaking news for us. But right now, we're taking calls for Fritz Springmeier. What's a good truth movement, group or organization out there to be part of, in your view, Fritz? And then his comment about biological androids. Go ahead.
I'm going to pass on recommending anything. I mean, you've got a tremendous program here for people to watch, and it's
all about them becoming empowered. I mean, I'm not saying organizations are bad, but that's where things always get weird. It's just, I mean, I don't even have an organization. It's just we're independent. We love freedom.
Exactly. I've seen some groups that are actually managing to get the right idea where they don't want anybody to be the leader, where they want to empower everybody. That was sort of the idea behind that Occupy Wall Street movement. But then I heard a lot of people complaining, well, there's not one spokesman, one leader. Well, that's the mindset that people have, is they want things to be controlled. They don't, we need to empower people, not control them. As far as the Android thing, we see this progression. First, it started out a number of years ago with people being implanted, and then these implants, and a few of the people that I worked with actually managed to get the implants, get them out of them. But these implants were being controlled by AI, artificial intelligence generally, although sometimes they would be manipulated by human handlers. And they were being used for weird things. But you have something called BCI, brain-computer interface, and we're going to see a gradual progression of more BCI as they integrate.
Well, I wanted to raise this. They've already got the drones that are autonomous, flying around killing people.
Oh, yes. And we're going to see an increasing progression of this as they link us back in to that internet